Alright, what is up, guys? It is InfinityGeckos here today, and, well, yes, I did get new glasses, thank you, and I did get a new haircut, but that's not what the video is about, so let's get to the actual video. Today's video is going to be on, well, this video was requested by one of my new subscribers, Banana Hammock, and, this was requested by, him or her, I'm not sure. And this video is going to be on basic, Crested Gecko care. I haven't done one of these videos, and it's surprising because mainly all my videos are on Crested Geckos. But let's get started. Okay, so basically leopard leopard geckos. I'm used to making, because I used to have leopard geckos too, so it's kind of weird. Okay, well, let me just give you a little bit. Alright, so here we are at my kind of Crested Gecko station thingy. And, well, this is where I house my two Crested Geckos as of now. Yeah, okay, let's start with the enclosure. So, Crested Geckos are, well, a lot of reptiles can be housed in tubs, but, Crested Geckos are one of them. And that's what I like about them. Okay, yeah, so Crested Geckos are, they like to climb. They're arboreal creatures, which means they're high dwellers, meaning that they like to climb trees, hide in trees, plants, all that stuff. But for a baby, I would recommend either a critter keeper, like a small or large or whatever, medium, depending how big your Crested Gecko is. But in this, I have a 10-gallon right here, which works fine for my baby, who's about who's 5 grams right now. So he's still, I don't know, he or she, but it's about like the size of my pinky right here. And she's still really small, but if you keep it in a 10-gallon, gives it a lot of room to grow, and pretty nice height on this for a little baby, but you're gonna probably want more taller than this. I know this is like pretty tall, but not really. So as it gets older, you're gonna want to move it into, I prefer like I personally prefer plastic tubs, like Tupperwares like Sterlite or whatever, or any of that stuff. But if you want to go for glass aquariums, which are much nicer, I would recommend going for either Zoomed or Exoterra, which I think are probably the only companies that make them. But if you want to go for a baby, I would recommend the smallest Exoterra, which is I think 12 by 12 by 12, which for a little baby, don't go any smaller than that. But as it gets over to about a juvenile, move it to about a I'd say 12 by 12 by 18, and that gives you a little bit more height, which is good. It's still the same dimensions. And when I say 12 by 12 by 18 to 12 by 12 by 12, meaning it has 12 width, or like or depth, whatever everyone call it, the side length. 12 length, like, and this is all in inches, okay? So don't think centimeters or millimeters. That's just like impossible, okay? But so like 12 length, just picture it, 12 inches in length, 12 inches in depth or width, whatever you want to call it, and then 12 inches in height. But and then 18 inches in height. The last one is always the height, okay? So that, you'll notice that goes up the most, and the height of the tank goes up the most. And then as an adult, you could keep it in a 12 by 12 by 18. I'd say you could. But that's the maximum for one adult. Do not keep any more than that in a 12 by 12 by 18. You could probably go on Exoterra or Zoomed website and find the tanks and the dimensions or whatever. But if you want to get more like Crested Geckos in one tank, like let's say like 2 or 3 Crested Geckos, maximum 3, I would go to an 18 by 18 by 24, which is perfect for 2 or possibly 3 Crested Geckos. Next we'll move on to their water needs. Crested geckos do not prefer to drink out of a water bowl. They're not that kind of animal. They actually prefer drinking off moving water. So meaning you should get a spray bottle, which doesn't have to be a manual one. Like you get like an electric one, but it's too expensive. But any spray bottle will do, like this one, a little tiny one, or this. But what you just basically want to do is get your spray bottle, fill it up with water. You could use some of this right here. You could buy some of this ReptiSafe stuff. Just to condition the water, because a lot of people say that tap water is not good for them to drink. It has like all whatever. But I think tap water is fine. My Crested geckos are growing good, and yeah, but this is optional. Okay, you don't have to run out and buy this. Say this guy told me this, that I have to buy this, but that's optional in case you're more on the safe side of your animals, which I'm not really, but I still care about them and everything, like you know. Okay, so basically you're gonna want to take your spray bottle, fill it up with water, and the rest is pretty simple, you know. Take off the. Hold on, let me get you a good view. Just basically, you know, take off the lid of their tank and spray like that. Okay. Now this tub right here has a, plastic top, which does not have screening or anything. I mean, you can install screening like chicken wire or whatever. Just cut a hole on top, round off the edges with like a lighter or match or whatever, and then hot glue the screen to the top. But I don't do that because I'm not that lazy, and I'm fine with taking off the lid every time. But for babies, if you have a Tupperware that holds the humidity really good, which this does, I'll get to that in a second, then you could spray like once a day, because I spray it once a day and it's still like, I'll spray it in the morning and it's still good for like the next day. So that's why I love these Tupperware containers. But I also didn't get to, I forgot to mention this, guys, I'm sorry. But for Crested Gecko care, for the enclosure, if you want to go for a tub, a little baby could be housed in like a little 6-quart tub, which is kind of small, but they're babies, they don't need a lot of room, and it'll be more helpful for them to find their food. But then you want to move over. This one is, he's still a baby, but he's not that much of a baby. He's around 9 grams right now, and I've basically in a 51-quart tub, which is a little bit bigger than a 10-gallon tank, but it's still bigger, so it's better. And once you get older, adult tub, I would recommend using a 66-quart tub for an adult. You could also put 2 of them in there to breed, but do not go over that limit and take them out right when they're done breeding. But yeah, so water needs, if it's a baby and it's in like a Tupperware like this, spray once a day in the morning, and it should be good until the next day, and then you just spray it again in the morning. And just make sure you spray all around, because that's the way for them to drink, and make sure it's always nice and wet in there and moist and humid. If you have a screen tank with a screen lid, I would recommend spraying 2 to 3 times a day, because the moisture really does just get out of that tank because of the screen, and it doesn't help holding the humidity as well as a Tupperware. That's why these are my favorite. And also these are my favorite because they're really cheap. They're only like $11, $10, whatever, even cheaper than that. You could go for a glass tank, which is at 10 gallons like $15, and including tax like $17, which is like, it's not that expensive, but still, you save a few bucks here and there. And then yeah, okay. Next I'll go into feeding. Feeding is quite simple. Crested geckos. If you saw my my Crested Gecko video on what I feed my Crested geckos, that will tell you more in depth on what you should feed it. But this is just the basics. Basic thing right here is Crested Gecko diet, Rapashi. Woo! Rapashi is the ultimate diet, All you do is you mix 2 parts water to 1 part this, and you should have like a little measuring spoon. Just buy it. It's like $1, whatever. This is the one you should do for feeding schedule. That also more in depth on my other video, but for feeding schedule, I would do. You put this in on Monday, okay? You leave it in there for Tuesday. You replace it on Wednesday. Leave it in there for Thursday. Replace it on Friday. Leave it in there for Saturday. Replace it on Sunday, and keep going on, okay? But that's what you should do with this, okay? Don't give them too much, don't give them too little, because, let them help themselves on what they need, and what they don't need, just throw out. But yeah, this is the basic diet for them. You could also feed them crickets as their basic diet, but this gives as much nutrients and protein as crickets, but even more, and calcium and everything. Also, you can feed them as a treat. Don't feed this every day, please, guys. It'll make them really fat and unhealthy. I'm not sure if you can see this, but right. Hold on, guys. There you go. Mealworms. Everybody loves mealworms. Okay. Mealworms you could buy at basically any reptile store. They're kind of expensive, I got this from my cousin's pet store, but it was pretty cheap, But at places like PetSmart, you'll get like 50 for like $3, which is pretty expensive. You get crickets a lot more benefits. But mealworms only as a treat. So put this in once in a while when you feel like you want to give them a treat, just like dogs or cats or whatever. Okay, heating and lighting. As you can see, my tanks are clean. Nothing. No heating or no lighting is necessary for crested geckos. As long as your house does not go to, as long as your room that you're keeping them in does not go below, let's say, I say around 65 degrees. Yeah, as long as it doesn't go below like 65. But yeah, UVB lights are not necessary for these as long as you supplement them with a nice calcium D3 for when you feed them crickets or mealworms or whatever kind of worms. But heating, do not put a heat pad or a heat lamp on, because they will, I hate to say this, but they will like cook and they will probably die. Maybe, I've seen a few people on YouTube that put like a very low wattage, but just don't put any heat on this tank. Okay, now I'll move to decor for your tanks. So let me move a little bit closer for this. I'll just go to my younger one's tank. Okay, but here is his tank. And as you can see, there's a lot of greenery. And this greenery basically, here, let me move this back a bit again. I'll just bring the tank over there for you guys. Okay, no, actually, never mind. Okay, basically, for a tank, what you want is lots of hanging plants and greenery where they can hide in. So basically, you want like hanging plants. You don't have to go to Exoterra, Zoomed, or any of those companies and buy the really expensive ones that are like $10 for one little small one. Go to a dollar store, go to a home hardware store, go to anywhere. Buy the cheap little plants. They don't care what you put in them for them, as long as they can hide in it. But make sure they do have a lot of greenery. You should, it's not necessary, but you could give them a hiding spot. This is a big hide, but it's filled with moss for more humidity. But yeah, just give them lots of places to hide, like lots of greenery, like I said, a lot of plants, a lot of bark, a lot of stuff like that, because they are like semi-tropical creatures, and they like to be in the, plants hiding. They're most active during night, okay? So that's when you'll see them eating, that's when you'll see them doing their necessary stuff. But, to tell if your crested gecko is eating, I would recommend, okay, that's substrate, I'll get to that. You can use eco-earth, bark, coconut husk, any of that soil, plantation soil, but make sure you buy it from like a classified, like healthy, don't just go out from your garden and just put it in your tank. But I would recommend as a baby until he gets to a little bit older, like semi-adult, put in paper towel, okay? At the bottom, this stuff works great. It's great for when you spray. You can tell if they ate. and that's basically how you can tell if they ate. You'll see, like, after you feed them, you see little poop at the bottom, little feces, and that's how you know he'll eat. And but yeah, that's basically about it for substrate and stuff like that. For EcoWorth, you won't be able to tell if they ate. You'll just look in their bowl and see if they licked it up. But yeah, like I said, that's all the decor and stuff. If I missed anything, guys, please tell me. I'm just trying to think here if I missed anything. Oh yeah, for decor, also give them lots of climbing stuff for climbing. Like just logs going to the like slanted. Don't put them fully up because it won't be too comfortable for them. But yeah, like I said before, for substrate, this is what I use. This is plantation soil, but made from Exoterra. This is what I use for my older one. I'm gonna take it out soon because it's not working too well. I can't really tell if he ate or anything, but substrate's for substrate, paper towel is the way to go. Do not use Kleenex or like any kind of paper. Not paper towel, toilet paper, or anything like that. But also, for an example, these are all plants from the dollar store. Look, that looks like an actual Zoom Ed plant, and for like $1. This is like plant. This came in a huge roll. Like this, just a little tiny piece. That just shows you, what you could get at the dollar store. For feeding, one last thing. This is something like this you could use to put the food in. Just a little hollow container. Make sure it's pretty shallow. This isn't too shallow, but I would go a little more shallow than this. So just so they don't drown anything. Remember, do not put a water bowl because they could drown. But like I said, that's about it for this video. This video was requested by Banana Hammock. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope this helps you with your first Crested Gecko. And if you have any further questions, any of you guys, even the subscriber Banana Hammock, just comment on my videos, message me, inbox me, anything, guys. Comment, and I'll be glad to answer. I have a pretty quick response. So yeah, there will be more videos coming up very soon. But yeah, like I said, hope you enjoyed this video. Hope this helps you, Banana Hammock. And thanks, guys. Please rate, comment, and subscribe. See ya. Like I said, more videos coming soon. Bye.